Turkey Valley Trojans had a talented Clarksville team come to town last week, and the Clarksville Indians won 62-22. Chatting about that game here with head coach Mark Scott. And coach, as you looked at the film from that one, what were your takeaways from that contest last Friday?
Well, they were bigger, stronger, and faster than us, and more physical. So they took it at us, and then we didn't get off blocks, we didn't tackle, and once they got, they were fast enough that if they had a step on us, it was over.
And when you had a game that was played in the conditions that you had dealt with the other night, and granted there was no advantage or disadvantage because both teams were playing in the same conditions, do you assess a game a little differently with the challenges that Mother Nature presented to your team last week, or is it a case of the other team's playing in it too, so we got to assess it the same way?
Yeah, the only difference would have been, it was ball was wet enough that we would have needed to air it out a little more than we did. And it was, that would have been the only thing. It might have kept it a little, kept it down a little bit. But I mean, made it narrowed the margin a little bit. But, when you can't tackle them, you can't tackle them.
And what specifically, where did the breakdown occur when it came to tackling, when it came to the fundamentals of getting guys on the ground?
They were bigger than us, and they just blocked us, and we couldn't get off the blocks. I mean, when their defensive end literally picked up our tight end and just threw him out of his way to make a play. I mean, the guy was 80 pounds heavier than us, and he was strong. So, I mean, it was a man against boys.
And this week, you're back home once again as you take on a new team to high school football. Waterloo Christian comes to town this Friday night. Granted, you're deep enough into the season that you've seen enough film on them, but is there any challenge in particular facing an absolutely new football program?
Well, new football program. They're a football program. New, old doesn't really matter. You just got to evaluate what are they going to run? What are they going to try to do on defense? What kind of athletes? Where are their athletes at? They have some athletes. I mean, they got some kids that can run around and catch the ball, and we can't be missing tackles again. Have to make sure we cover them.
And what has impressed you the most about Waterloo Christian looking at them on film?
They have athletes. I mean, there's some kids running around that are, they're athletic. I mean, it's not like some teams will play don't have any athletes. They have some athletes running around.
All right. And what would you want to see out of your team based on last week's performance that you want to see better this Friday night?
Well, obviously tackling, but I mean, the kids played hard. It's just sometimes you physically can't do it because they're physically better than you are. And it's hard to run the ball when the guy you're trying to block is, bigger, stronger, and well enough coached that he's not going to make a mistake.
Great, Coach. Hopefully you can get back on the winning track this Friday night. Keep your kids healthy. We wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Mark Scott, head coach of the Turkey Valley Trojans and Waterloo Christian Friday night in Jackson Junction.